Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. We are here with our trade targets video ahead of the round 14 deadline. If you have been enjoying the videos here on the channel, make sure you smash a thumbs up. Make sure you get in the comments and let me know who you're targeting this week with your trades and if it's somebody that we have gone through in the video. Also, drop a comment if you think the new setup, well, not new setup, but I'm obviously not recording in my normal setup. So let me know how it goes, but we're just getting straight into it. The number one most traded in player this week is Zach Johnson. I managed to bring him in when he played Brisbane. Again, he got subbed out in that game. I was a bit concerned that, maybe he's not the option that we really want, but he had 67% time on ground, which is kind of concerning considering he got subbed out in the Brisbane game and he barely had any extra time on ground, but he went and got the 5 marks and the 3 tackles. I think he is a fine play through the buys, but I don't think you need to go too much more into that. If you need a downgrade option, I think he's the number one this week before we know teams tomorrow night. So that's what I'd be doing with the Zach Johnson. Then we've got a Matt Kennedy. I have spoken about him almost every week we've done trade talk, and he's just someone who is just ticking along when a lot of the other forwards are really struggling to hit consistent numbers. I'm really frustrated that I can't get him in this week because St Kilda, Richmond, Sydney, North Melbourne, Adelaide is such a good run. I don't think I can make this happen, but we'll talk about my team a little bit later. But Matt Kennedy, if you need a forward, is the number one trade target forward. Had his bye, definitely going to be a top 3 forward. In by 7K. I think he was around, 10% owned last week. He's up to 13.5 now. I think he's a great option. In at number 3, Tom McCarthy. Again, not a whole lot to report on a Tom McCarthy. He's owned by 7%. I'd love to see what his ownership's done over the first couple of weeks since the mid-season buys. But if he's named tomorrow night, I think he's an absolute launch in as a defender rookie. Very easy bias down if he's named, and then we can go from there. I think the role's going to be there. He should play full games. I can't see West Coast really taking him out of their team. So I think at 230, if he's named, is a fantastic option. Now, Sam Doherty has gone to halfback. The time on ground is up. He's gone back-to-back 112. So a lot of things are pointing in the direction that are positive. He had 13 marks on the weekend, which is crazy, but he had no tackles, and typically he does get involved with the tackles. I think Doc is a good option, but I feel like the 821 bracket's really awkward. I feel like if you can stretch higher, you're going to a Zach Butters, and if you want to go lower, you can go to a Colby McKercher. So it's a bit of an interesting play. It's almost like if you really need a midfield upgrade and you can't get fully all the way up, I don't mind Doherty with West Coast, North Melbourne, Port, Collingwood. It's not the worst run. I don't love this move, but 6,000 people have brought in a Sam Doherty. I'd be surprised if the role does change. I think he should be locked in at that halfback role, but I'm just a bit concerned around the pricing. I feel like if you can make the extra 100K work, go up to a Butters. Otherwise, you've got other issues. Let me just check. What's Butters priced at? Is he... Yeah, 930. It's 110K that you're looking at. I think you can make that work with 3 trades. Hugh Jackson, as a Port fan, I don't love this pick. My issue with Jackson is he did look really good against GWS, but we've also got a Jason Horne-Francis coming back into the midfield area. I just feel like there's opportunities for him to be dropped. I just don't think long-term he's going to be in the team, although he's had his bye, so I wouldn't be looking at a Hugh Jackson. Nick Madden. You'll notice there's my little icon next to a Nick Madden because I'm at this stage bringing in Nick Madden. There's a reason I'm bringing him in. It's not because his matchups are any good. He goes and plays Brisbane and Gold Coast before his bye. It's because next week he can cover Max Gawn for me. So if I can make some cash out of him over the next couple of weeks, I'll be happy. And then if at round 16 or round 17 I have to get off of him, hopefully he's made me 100 odd K, and then I can move him to any other rookie that's coming through because he'll be in my utility. So this is a pure cash grab and get an extra number on board next week. Luau, don't love this. Was a late in when Redmond was out. Did score all right with a 60, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the side. Colby McKercher. absolutely love this pick. Again, you can see my little icon is there because I love this pick. I think Colby is a fantastic young footballer. I think if North Melbourne are going to want to win some games, they're going to want the ball in his hand, they're going to want it in Caleb Daniels' hand, and they then want to be able to get them to transition the ball up to a Harry Sheezel, into a LDU, up to a Luke Parker, and get their running and carry game going. And I think Colby is going to be part of that. We've seen he's had games where he's had high tackle, or not high tackles, he had the 10 tackles against Richmond, but the marks, he's normally around the 3 to 4 area. I think if he can start getting 5s and 6s playing at half back instead of half forward, I think there's a world where Colby can go 85, 90 pretty consistently. I don't think he's going to get 35 touches every week. He had a half a dozen kick-ins as well against West Coast in a bit of a funny game where there were a lot of kick-ins for North Melbourne. But I think if North can get in control of a game like that, then they'll be able to chip the ball around a little bit more. I think he will get involved in that chip mark stuff. Hopefully Daniel is looking for him from the kick-in, which is what I'm hoping for. So hopefully McKerchie gets those marks up by being that release kick from defence. So I'm looking at him massively this week because I think he's great value at 630k. And if he's my D6 come the end of the season, what is that spot going up on my screen? A little bit weird. Zach Butters, again, someone else like a Kennedy. I wish I could go this week. Again, the Melbourne game is a bit of an interesting one to launch into. Sydney, I expect a little tag, but then I reckon from... What is going on with my screen? A bit weird. There's just like little flashes going on my screen. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can't. There's a few tags coming, but then from Brisbane, West Coast, Hawthorn, Adelaide, Geelong, Freo, Carlton, and Gold Coast. I like that run to finish the year out with a Zach Butters. Ted Closey, don't even go there. The two Saints boys here, Nazaya and Sinclair, I absolutely love. I own Naz. Sinclair is just a great footballer as well. I think at some point this year, we're going to want both of these boys in our sides. Sinclair's gone 95, 139, 119, 112 into a decent run here as well. Luke Jackson, I feel like this is a play, as much as I'd love him against North, again, if he's playing primarily ruck and midfield, that won't be the easiest matchup, but I love him for Essendon, St Kilda, Sydney, Hawthorn, Collingwood, West Coast. I love this run here. I think he could be a play from like an Isaac Rankin down. So Isaac Rankin's at about 850, Jackson's at 940. So if you can just turn a little bit of cash next week to get Luke Jackson, just one more week to see if him and Darcy play together. Does Jackson stay in this midfield rotation then to the bench? I think if he's playing ruck mid-bench, I think we launch into a Luke Jackson. Again, he's 23 years old. He's heading into the prime of his career. He's a great footballer. Like, if Fremantle want to win games and they're playing good football, they need Luke Jackson playing in the areas where he can impact games. And that is on the ball or in the ruck, not as a full forward. So I really like Luke Jackson next week. Obviously, I'd like to jump into him this week, but I just don't think the buys work for most people. But if you're turning in Isaac Rankin next week into Luke Jackson, get the extra fixture, it's going to cost you a little bit. Luke Jackson's break even 67, so he's going to go up a bit. Rankin's probably going to go down a little bit, but I do like the Luke Jackson pick. Sarong, I'm not massive on this. He's just not a fantasy scorer. I like it more in Supercoach. He just requires too many touches in order to get his scores. He's too handball happy, wouldn't be going there. The Port boys, Bergman and Rosie. Bergman worries me a little bit. I just don't think the midfield role is as fantasy friendly as we'd like it to be. Yes, he's a bigger bodied midfielder, but he's not in there to go and win the ball. He's in there to go lock people down. So there will be games where he plays on people that get around the ball. So I think that'll be fine. Like, he ended up playing 96% of game time on the weekend because Toby Green got injured and he just stayed out in the field. Again, he had the 8 marks, 4 tackles. He's going to be a high marker, and if he's around the ball, he's going to get the tackles. There's a world where he goes all right, but I'm just worried that there's going to be weeks where the scores are going to come down because someone drags him forward and keeps him away from the midfield. Connor Rosie, if you don't have him, 100% launch in right now. Max Holmes, I love this pick, but not now. You almost have to wait for this Richmond game here in round 17 and get the run here of the Giants, Saints, and North Melbourne. You get Essendon again, you get Sydney, you get Richmond. We know that Geelong is a team we want to target from round 17. So they're the main trade targets. Jack McRae is named, but with a break-even of 105, you can afford to wait a week here. And if we want to launch into him next week, we can. Again, he's not going to drop too much in price. So I don't know whether I'll go Jack McRae or not. So that's the trade-in targets. Let's go to the traded-out players. Levi Ashcroft is very high on this list. He's someone who's been in and out of my trade plans. I'm not set on my plans just yet as well, but at this stage, it looks like he might stay, but his price is coming down. 101 break even. I don't mind selling Levi Ashcroft if you need to use the money in order to go up to a Matt Kennedy. So that might be something that I look at doing, but I'll talk to you about my trades in a minute. Riley Bice next, highest traded out. 100% understand this. On the buy, saved his cash a little bit last week with that 93, but time to go for a Riley Bice. Xavier Lindsay could probably wait one more week on him. 74 break even means he's probably not going to make any cash for you this week, but I don't think he's going to lose you too much cash at the same time. As long as he doesn't get subbed out, then you can probably move him at the buy. Matty Roberts can go. Boxall's not named. El Hooley as a injured player, I don't mind it as well. Nick Dacos, there's 3,000 people trading Nick Dacos out. I do not understand this at all. Yes, he got tagged heavily against Melbourne, but he goes into St Kilda, West Coast, Carlton, Gold Coast, Fremantle, Richmond. You just want a piece of Nick Dacos, and if you're trading him out, that is very, very silly. Chad Warner, again, who are you going to here? If it's Chad Warner to Matt Kennedy, I can probably understand it. I just don't think he's going to play the role that we really want from Chad Warner this year. 2 goals, gave away 5 free kicks for an 80. You know, there's just some interesting names here. Isaac Rankin, people are getting off this very early. Again, 120 break even. If you're going to trade him next week anyway, do you get off of him now? I don't love the forward options other than Kennedy, and I'd rather prioritise getting the extra scores on field this week, and then I'll deal with him next week when he's a red dot or blue dot, whatever it is. So Rankin, as much as I'd love to move him out for Matt Kennedy and make that move happen, it doesn't make me massively better this week. I'd rather move other pieces who aren't playing to get me some cash gen, and then move on to a Matt Kennedy or a Luke Jackson, one of those names next week. That's what I'm looking at. So no other big names here on the list of trade out. So let's go look at my team and my trades. At this stage, I'm going Riley Bice, Cooper Simpson, and Angus Hastie out for Nick Madden, Colby McKercher, and Tom McCarthy. Now, I could move some things around. So if I was to reverse these 2 trades, I think Bice to Colby is pretty well locked in for me. The other option I've got is I could go Cooper Simpson down to McCarthy, which is not a forward. We want the defender. So if we went Tom McCarthy in for Cooper Simpson, that makes me 130k. So I'm not in a position where I can really utilize a lot of this money to get me up. So this is what I've looked at. So if I was to go Levi up as a forward, it doesn't leave me with options who I'm really, really happy with. It kind of left me with a Dylan Moore, who again, doesn't gain me a fixture. It doesn't give me an option to really go and get anything major. If I went Riley Bice out, would probably keep Riley Bice anyway. But if Tom McCarthy then comes in here, if we then move Riley Bice and Levi Ashcroft both out of my side, and if I really wanted to get Matt Kennedy, it only leaves me with 462k to get anybody who can contribute to my side, which probably isn't enough. So Cooper Simpson is my highest rookie as well, which is not ideal. So I'm in a bit of an interesting position where my money's not in the best of places. I'm very, very happy with my midfield when Ned Long's in there, when Nick Dacos is obviously playing, and we've got other options. We've got a lot of really strong options. You know, the Loxie Whitfield move might be one that I regret. Like, I paid up for Cooper Lord last week, but again, he went up, a nice amount of coin last week as well. I don't know how I can see that. Who did he play? That's projected. He went up 50k just alone this week. So again, I know I paid up for him last week, but that's where I'm at with my side at the moment. So if we go and get rid of Angus Hastie for who are we getting rid of? We're going for Colby, McKercher, and it leaves, we need to obviously make 195k from somewhere, and I'll have to go back and play around with my side. Oh, that's because that was with Riley Bice. That's why that didn't work. So if we then confirm Riley Bice, and then we'll go and move Angus Hastie to a Nick Madden, and then It's a bit frustrating that this week I don't get a major upgrade, but I think for cash gen purposes, Colby's price is going in the right direction. Tom McCarthy should be going in the right direction, and a Nick Madden are all going in the right direction. It leaves me with 120k next week. It leaves us with 6 playing here in the forward line. It leaves us with 2 in the ruck, so we've got 8. We've then got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the midfield, and then another 6 in defence. So it leaves me with 21 on field. Obviously, we get to drop 3 scores off. You'd expect Clark, Johnson, and McCarthy scores to all drop off. So Cooper Lord is probably the least premium of my options. But when you're saying that Cooper Lord and Colby McKercher are the 2 lower end scores that we're taking, the rest of the team is borderline premiums. So like Caleb Daniel, I wouldn't call a premium, but he's a very good option. Colby, fine, but normally you'd have Josh Dacos in there at D4. And over the next couple of weeks, we'd look at making Angus Clark into sort of a D5 so that Colby can be D6. So we've got options long term here. Obviously, we've got a Ned Long to come into our midfield as well. We've got Levi Ashcroft, who I don't know how I'm going to make the money to get rid of a Levi Ashcroft. Hopefully, it's like a Nick Madden we can cull 100k out of over the next couple of weeks. Maybe a Kai Lohman on his buy. If his break even starts to creep up, if he's still scoring 50s for the next couple of weeks, maybe we've got an opportunity there to target getting Levi off his buy at the same time, and then Cooper Lord, hopefully we can then move around. So I'm in a bit of an interesting spot. I don't love my moves this week, but I don't see any other obvious moves. Get in the comments and let me know what you see with my side. What else should I do? I really don't want to trade Ned Long. I want to keep my 3 Collingwood boys because their run is fantastic. My best 18 sort of side would have Josh Dacos in at D4 with Colby at D5 right now, and obviously between Clark and McCarthy at D6. Ned Long would be in at M8, and then that's pretty much the rest of my best side. So if you're looking at McCarthy, Long, and Cooper Lord, we're almost, we've still got 6 more trades to go in order to fill our teams out at best 22 levels. I think we can get there. Obviously, hopefully we can go 2 down, 1 up, 2 down, 1 up. At least run rookie on field out of a McCarthy. I'm almost not going to count Long as a rookie or a Cooper Lord. We've got money here now between our forwards. We've got Levi and Lohman playing every week. Cooper Simpson goes. Madden comes in. Hastie's a dead dot. Cooper's a dead dot. So at least we're going to get some cash gen. My moves really do rely on this Tom McCarthy move. Otherwise, I have to get creative with some cash gen, which is what I'm looking for. So we'll see what happens. But get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on my side. And I'll see you guys very, very soon for another video on the channel.